Um, Obviously, everyone wants to know what each of the council members and the mayor think about the proposed indoor sports complex. So we'd like to start out with you giving some of your thoughts about that, some of your thoughts about the continued partnership with NCS, because that is somewhat tied to any kind of recreational amenity. And maybe some thoughts about doing a more quantitative analysis about how the project like this would generate more economic activity within the city. I know that's kind of a long question.
Yeah. The first part of the question is, well, let's get NCS out of the way first. I mean,
Okay.
We have a contract with NCS.
Okay.
We do. Like it or not, we do. The prior council voted for one particular amenity, and I think we collectively believe, and Mr. Part has been very cooperative in looking at alternatives, and simply the question is there something that can be more beneficial to Mesquite in the short term, midterm, and long term than something that apparently has very little public support for, and
that would be the amphitheater?
The amphitheater,
okay.
And has the potential of not being completed to the point where it's really usable to any great degree. So,
okay.
Having said all that, this idea was brought up as like the public comment. There was a lot of ideas that were thrown out, and this one came up and seemed to have the intuitive, at least an intuitive sense of possibility to it. Okay, we're in the desert, indoors air conditioning. There's one positive. Winter, it's cold and windy, indoors. So, there's an immediate, I guess, what would you call it, just immediate synergy to the existing sports complex by adding fields. And there has been some real interest by some of the like UNLV and some other teams to come up here and have training camps and
okay.
Which is great. I mean, they rent the fields, they do stuff, and that's a real income generator in a small sense from the city, for the city, but in a larger sense from the economics. The question that always comes up then is, can you quantify what this really is? So I think Brian has done a pretty good job of saying, okay, I mean, there's some statistical information out there, real data that's been generated by the LVCVA in particular,
okay.
that quantifies through their 25-year history or whatever it is, the visitor spend based on the type of visitor it is.
Okay.
And excluding gaming, this is pure how much you spend on a room, how much you spend on food, what your visitor spend is per person, per visit.
Okay.
Or per night.
Okay.
That's real information that's really available. Now, of course, are we the same as Vegas? But our numbers are in Vegas's number. We're not. But if you take, and we have asked, Brian has asked the LVCVA to vet that numbers that he used to come back, and I think we just got them.
Okay.
That sort of confirm or put us in the range of the reality from their experience. Mm-hmm. Nobody there's no crystal ball, so you have to take whatever available data there is.
Okay.
So we've done that.
Okay.
And it comes up with a low, medium, and high average usage of the field, this and this. And frankly, it's not a moneymaker for the city. It makes a little bit, but based on whatever measure you want, the high, low, or medium, it pays for itself operationally and makes a little bit more money. It doesn't necessarily pay for the building itself.
Okay.
Now, having said that, over some amortization period or something, it doesn't necessarily do that in a meaningful way. But it also then looks at what the visitor spend is and the assumptions, whether it's $100 a day per person, whether it's $60 or $140 or whatever the high, medium, low is, and says, okay, this is what you can expect. And intuitively you say, okay, if it brings in this much, and that's a realistic number, then you say, well, they got to eat.
Right.
And so, and I know this isn't Jackson Hole, but you still have to eat. And I'm sorry, you go to dinner anywhere in town. We went to dinner and we split a dinner at Catherine's, and it was still $70. You know, by the time you have a few drinks and a dinner, it's a nice restaurant, but we split a dinner.
Yeah.
And it's $70. You go to Los Lupis, it's $25 for two. You know, and so it's not cheap. And so you look at that and you say, okay, you got a family of four. They're staying in a hotel room that's $79. You get, you know, four people, and if it's $20 a day for the four, that's eating at McDonald's in every meal. You know, so you end up so you end up getting to some dollar amount. Okay. And that's the formula. So then the question, then the real variable is how many visits and how many visitors.
Right.
But we have a history of who's using the field, how often they're using the field, how many requests, or how many events canceled because of weather, or how many we didn't get in the summer period because we know it's too hot to do outdoor events. Okay. And so you can go, kids are out of school, it's hot, we have 3 indoor fields that they can play soccer on. This is an opportunity. So from my sense, intuitively, it does make some more sense than an outdoor amphitheater that's usable, you know, half the year maybe. Okay. Then the analysis has sort of been done. What we don't know yet, and what I don't know yet, is how much is it? Where's the money coming from? Right. How much is the city going to be into it for? What are we going to get exactly? How versatile is it, or is it not? And you know, and I don't think this isn't a convention center. We're not going to be hosting conventions in there. We're not going to have a full kitchen. We're not going to have prep areas. We're not going to, you know, it's not that. Okay. And to dispel that notion. Now, it could be used for large events and large things, certainly. But it's like any other place. They're going to have to get caterers to bring in the food and so on and so forth. And they do it in Vegas. They'll drive it up here. It's not a big deal. Yeah. You got to pay for it. But the events pay for that. The city doesn't pay for that. Okay. If somebody wants a $700 or $800 or $1,000 or 1,000-person event, like Long Drive used to do at Costa, they'd pay X amount per person. Yeah. And that included the setup, the takedown, the meals, the everything, and the everything. It is what it is. Okay. You do it or you don't. And so I don't know if there's a huge market. I don't think that's gotten figured into the you know, pro formas. Mm-hmm. So those are some opportunities that I don't think we've even calculated because we don't know. There is no experience in that. Right. So we don't know. Okay. So but those are some things that you're concerned about or that you're looking at and on the cost side, I guess. Before I throw my hat one direction or the other, I want to know how much it costs, what are we going to get, okay, and in what form is it going to take, who are we getting it from, not that matters. These are great facilities. I've seen them, I've been in them. They're very, very functional facilities, and they work. Yeah. And they're getting more popular. I mean, the Seahawks has a training facility for the professional football team that's a tent. Yeah. Or, you know, stretch skin fabric or whatever you want to call it. But it's a beautiful facility. It's huge. But, so they work. Yeah. This isn't some pig in the poke. Now, in the partnership with NCS we're in, and I can't see why having them give us money is a bad thing. We owe them money. We paid them back, some of it. They want to encourage, or they want to create a better opportunity to develop the option land that they have, that we're in contract to provide them. And that makes sense to me. If I buy a piece of land and I think I can give the guy next door $1 million to do something that will improve the value of my land by 5 times, I'd do it. Okay. You would do it. Anybody would do it. So. Okay. That's one way to look at it. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you do it? Yeah. So I don't think there's anything nefarious in that in itself. I think they're smart people. They know that the more is developed up there, the better chance they have of doing something with their property. I don't think they even know yet. They're not going to build houses up there. Yeah. Nobody is. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, and the 10 acres, I think this council is on board pretty much on the same page. We do not sell city land anymore unless there is a highest and best use appraisal that says, irrespective of the current zoning, irrespective of anything, here is the appraised value of this property and at the highest and best use, period. And if that way, if we sell it at that price, we don't care what people do with it. It's just like the guy on Mesquite Boulevard here with a vacant lot. Does he care what the person that buys that lot for him, if they pay the fair value?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Why?
Well, and that's a change from the past also.
Yeah, it
to
is.
take the highest
Best use
and charge that.
charge for it, and then we don't care what happens to it.
Yeah.
It's not ours anymore.
Well,
And
within
we got-
reason, you don't care.
Well, no, but it has to fit with the PUD
Yeah.
in the zoning overlay, of course.
Right.
But if the zoning isn't the right zoning, if there's a better zoning, then that's what the appraisal needs to be at, and that's what we charge.
Perfect. Good.
Then we don't care.
Okay. So you're still kind of undecided about, you could, probably the bottom line is that you're still undecided about the indoor sports complex.
I just need more information, and we don't
Okay.
have it yet. And,
Okay.
And, I don't know how long NCS is gonna hang in there. I don't know if they're gonna be around, at their option contract expires, I believe, at the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we continue to drag our feet, they're gonna be gone and there won't be anything there, which is, maybe that's the right answer, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I do think that that's a tangible value to the city of Mesquite and its citizens from a both economic standpoint, property tax standpoint, energy standpoint, visitor volume, sales tax, everything. I mean, I think that's
Yeah. Okay. All right.